Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to look at Spirt Wolf, which is the 5th book in the Wolves of Beyond series. Now, prior to this, I did a little bit of digging, trying to figure out where does this fit in the Guardians of Ga'Hoole kind of series. And what I was able to figure out through just some of the descriptions is this is taking place after the War of the Ember, because Gwendolyn's father was a major player in that war. So, and he's dead. So he was a major player in that war. That's where he gets his hero's mark and why I think he has that mask, because he was injured in the war. And so he's dead. So, and Gwendolyn was in those books. So she was relatively young. She was, however, a rogue smith. So this is taking place afterwards. So what happens at the beginning of this book is there's a massive earthquake and glaciers are moving around and volcanoes are collapsing, and Fallon's paw becomes not deformed. So the last time, of course, this happened is when Corin came and took the Ember and they weren't guarding it anymore. And then it went back and they all went back to what they were. So something's happened with that Ember, whether it's destroyed completely or some other owls taking it, we're not really sure. But there's still a bloody damn great famine going on. So Fallon gathers his sisters. They're a little bit of an issue here trying to deal with, there's been a massive earthquakes. There's glaciers are collapsing. They eventually get back to Edme. Now, she hasn't been healed because, again, she was maimed by another wolf. She was not born the way she is. She is still a one-eyed wolf. And I don't think there's anybody left in the circle except for her. Somehow she, the old wolf has also already died. So they do the rites and then they leave because, and they take the little pup with him because he's been there. So, and Edme's been looking after him. So they leave. They eventually run into Gwendolyn, who has found her old mentor, the basically the seer of the wolves, who is dying. She's dying. And she's like, no, leave me alone, let me die. Not Gwendolyn, this old wolf. She's laying amongst her memory pots. And so they leave her. Gwendolyn tells them that she's run into another wolf who's run away, who had been a wolf who was one of the ones that were supposed to abandon pups. And she'd actually stolen one who was somehow damaged, though obviously now no longer damaged. And so they go back and they get her and this young pup, whose names I can't remember, and they come together. They're going to head to the... Fallon has this dream where we need to get the heck out of here. And there's no more food here. The Beyond is destroyed. Let's leave and go to the Great Blue, basically the Beyond kind of thing. So they head out. They run into Whistler, who was part of the Blood Watch, and they pick up with him. He joins them. They have a few more adventures. They run into the rest of the Blood Watch. There's only 2 left because, again, there was the earthquake, and then there was some issues, and then some of the rogue wolves attacked and tried to eat the heart of one of these wolves. And Fallon's old nemesis somehow has a mate and a pup, and that happens. And you find out later, he's trying to lead them after the earthquake, because that kills a bunch of other wolves. Not many, there's like 5 or 6. And he wants to lead them. He's going to follow Fallon. We find that out a little bit more later. So they pick up these other 2 wolves. They start heading out. And Gwendolyn is with them. And so we have Fallon, we have Edme, we have Fallon's 2 sisters, whose name I can't remember. You have the old Obey wolf and her cub, and then these 2 Whistler, and then we have these 2 wolves from the island. So there's 9 wolves and an owl traveling together. And then they add more. and they're out, and the little pup has wandered off, and then there's a big fog. He thought he had seen a hare, and he wants to show Edme that he can hunt. And then he falls down a small embankment that's icy and runs into two baby bears. And one of them is the one that Edme had and Fallon had rescued in a previous book. So Gwendolyn finds them, leads them back to the rest of the group. The rest of Fallon and Edme try to go, and Gwendolyn tried to go find the mother. She had been attacked. She was dying. She had like broken her ankle or something and been chased by some other creatures, and basically they ran her until she collapsed and they ate her. And so they have to go explain to the cubs that mom's dead. And then they're going across. Then they leave. Again, now we have 9 wolves and 2 bear cubs. So 2 small wolves, a bunch of adult wolves, and 2 bear cubs and an owl, traveling across this vacant thing of like frozen ice. And so meanwhile, you have the newly tailed blonde wolf that was, I can't remember his name. I don't think he's in this book. He's not. I don't think he's not in the Frost Wolf. But I think it starts with an H. He's there with his with his mate, who he's calling Elaine, and their pup. And she realizes who the heck she is. This is Karen, who was the foster mother to Fallon's 2 sisters. And she gets her basically memory back. And she realizes, she pretty much stands up to her former mate, grabs her cub, and runs. She wants nothing to do with him. He's attacked her. He's a bully. She's no longer. She won't submit to him. She grabs her cub and runs. And she joins their group and runs into them and gets forgiveness from her daughters. And now she's back with her foster daughters, and she has her son. And so they cross this barren wasteland, and Fallon comes to terms with the fact that he's had multiple lives, from being a bear to an owl to a wolf, and now he's another wolf, and it is his responsibility to lead his mismatched pack to some place where there is food, essentially. So that's how this book ends. I have not read Star Wolf, which is the next book, so it will certainly be interesting. So, and of course, Fallon's job, despite how young he is, he is younger than some of the other wolves here. So, remember, he's technically Kieran's nephew. So, not to mention what the heck happens with his old nemesis, who was intent on following him. Though he was really pissed off because all of a sudden Fallon's scent disappeared. He could still see his tracks, and she could still smell him. His mate could still smell him, which is how they got in a fight. It's like, I still smell like 5 wolves. It's like, what the heck are you talking about? He couldn't pick up a scent. Of course, he's only tracking Fallon's scent. He doesn't recognize anybody else. So, though you think he would recognize Edme, but who knows. But again, she leaves him, so we have no idea what's going on with him. He's been left behind. Fallon's kind of accepted he's this Frost Wolf, and he looks different, and he's going to lead them. And then we're going to go into the last book. It should be an interesting ride. I have not read this, so this seems very, very interesting to me. I'm now very intrigued. So that's the end of this video. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. Check out the rest of the videos. If you have no idea what the heck I'm talking about, please go back to the beginning and watch the beginning of these books. If you have no idea what the Guardians of Ga'Hoole are, you go really back to the beginning, to the start of my Owl series, which is like 17 videos long. So you can check out those. I will go back to Kathryn Lasky maybe into 2025. 2024 is all planned out. If you're interested in knowing what's incoming, though I seem to say this a lot in these videos, I am covering the bears. What the heck? I have the bears Spirt series. This is Kathryn Lasky. The Quest, the Bears of the Ice. So that's the last Kathryn Lasky series. That's just a 3-book polar bear series that I'm following. That's coming up next. And then I'm going into the Animorphs, so that's going to overlap a little bit with the Anne of Green Gables, because I found out that I can access online the entire book series thanks to the miracles of Reddit. And yes, I will leave those links below when I do those series. So I'll be doing those in batches of 5 as I'm working on the Anne of Green Gables series. So that will overlap a bit. Along with the Anne of Green Gables series, I am actually going to be doing all 4 films. I have seen 3. I have not seen this weird prequel thing that Sullivan created. I'm also going to be covering the Avonlea, or the Road to Avonlea TV series, which is loosely based on some of the short stories. And I am covering Lucy Maud Montgomery's Avonlea short stories as well. So I'll be covering those, the 7th series of that, having watched it for the first time as an adult, after having watched it on Disney when I was young. So that will be an interesting thing. Then we're going to the Boxcar Children, and then I'm going to the book series that, strangely enough, is actually still continuing, and that is the Wings of Fire series. So that is actually still going on, which I did not realize when I found these. So we will be covering dragons. Other loosely, constantly, what's going on film-wise. Theme-wise, I'm doing some interesting things in January with glass blowing and metalworking. I'm covering Black History Month in February. I'm covering Women's History Month in March. I'm covering the Titanic in April. I'm pretty sure I'm covering Asian, particularly Angel Island, and Asian immigration in the West. In May, I'm covering Eastern immigration and Ellis Island in June. I do not remember what that I'm covering in July off the top of my head. I think I'm covering women inventors then, and I don't know what the heck I'm covering in August off the top of my head. I know I'm covering September is you're getting Beauty and the Beast. So I'm covering those. That will be some interesting adaptations along with the original stories. So that is going to be very similar to my Cinderella reviews. So there's not as many adaptations Beauty and the Beast buys. There's been tons of adaptations for Cinderella. Cinderella was easy. Beauty and the Beast was a little bit harder. November, not off the top of my head. October, I'm covering space. So, and then December, I'm going back into mysteries, which was a pain in the butt because most mysteries are book series. And moving into 2025, you have a bunch of mystery book series possibly coming in. We'll see what ends up going on there. But yeah, we have to get through. We're still just barely a quarter of way through 2023 when I'm filming this. So, and I have 2024 planned out, and we'll probably start filming it probably sometime in May. So, if you want to know, if you watch my 2024 videos, when on earth I probably started doing those is probably going to be in May of this year. So that is the end of this video. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a positive comment if you have one. Thank you.